I just quit my day job. A lot of us are doing the same. There's something called the Great Resignation that's happening right now, and a lot of people are quitting their jobs because they've realized after the past year, certain jobs do not serve them any longer. So I want to talk about that today and share why I think it's happening and also why I decided to make that jump too. I've seen a few videos and articles about this, and there's a study going around where 40% of millennials want to quit their jobs. And after the past year that we've all had, I totally understand. It's why I quit my job as well. Things are going back to normal for a lot of us, but the pandemic changed a lot of things on the employee side, and it honestly has woken up a lot of us to things that are different now, to things that we want out of life that employers are not giving us. So let's talk about why people want to quit. 2020 kind of showed us a different lifestyle. For many people, it was not a good switch, but for some of us, it was life-changing and eye-opening. The past year made a lot of us step back and evaluate both the life we're living, the lifestyle, the habits that we have, and the jobs that we're working. And some of those evaluations were not positive. Some of those evaluations led us to realize that we were in jobs and situations and relationships and things that weren't really working for us. It also showed us, a lot of us, that our jobs could be done remotely. Of course, not every job can be done remotely, but a lot of office jobs that many people have could be done remotely. And a remote job for many people is a huge blessing. It removes a commute and a lot of the negatives of working in an office. Now, with COVID kind of slowing a little bit in some areas, in some ways, employers are demanding that people come back to the office. And for a lot of us, they're asking us to come back 5 days a week. And that feels unreasonable because it's not necessary. 2020 showed us that it's incredibly not necessary because we were able to do our jobs and keep things going while working from home. And employers that are not allowing any flexibility or any choice in that decision, they're finding that employees aren't as happy. And why would they be? Why would you want to sit in traffic 5 full days a week and have zero flexibility with your schedule when you've just spent a year proving that you're able to work remotely and work from home? Why would you not be given an option to maybe come in 1 day a week or 3 days a week and have a little bit of flexibility, or have the option to be fully remote if that's what fits your lifestyle? Honestly, I totally relate to this, and it's one of the reasons why I quit my job, because pre-pandemic, we were told that we could never work from home. It would never work. And then I spent almost a whole year, over a year, working remotely. And then suddenly things were normal and I was told to come back to the office 5 days a week. It made no sense. And why would I want to work in a job where the decisions make no sense like that? The decision made no sense, but the impact of that decision on my life was immense. Suddenly I had to spend 5 hours a week in very stressful rush hour traffic, and that stressed me out. It stressed out my baby. It was just something that really had a very negative impact on my life. So I realized that if I could do work remotely, why would I want to spend 5 hours a week or 10 days, 10 full days a year of my life, my one precious life, in traffic? Another reason why a lot of us are quitting jobs is because we realize that job flexibility and that work-life balance is something that we want. And unfortunately, not every employer is letting us have it. Working remotely or in a hybrid situation gives you more of your life back. It gives you less time commuting and more time to work out or to grocery shop and meal plan and cook, or to spend time with people that are your friends and your family. It gives you just so many options. Some extroverts and certain people have to be in the office for their mental sanity, and that's great. But if working remotely works for you and you are able to be flexible with your schedule, why would an employer not give you that option as well? That is where I think a lot of people are struggling. And with employers making people come back to the office 5 days a week, employees are realizing that the people they work for are not willing to give a single inch. And that means they can't give anything either. So it's either accept that or quit. Another reason why a lot of people are quitting is because we've realized that job security is not really a thing. In 2020, obviously, a lot of people lost their jobs at no fault of their own. The secure jobs that people thought they had suddenly were no longer secure. They didn't even exist. This made a lot of people think more critically about their jobs, and it also gave people the time to train for different careers in different fields, different industries, where they would have more stability and security. A lot of the jobs that people lost in 2020, I don't think they're going back to that because they've been able to find something else or train or learn a new skill or start their own business. A lot of people started businesses during this time, and a lot of people grew their business like I did. There are so many ways to make money and so many options out there now. Jobs really aren't that secure when you really think about it, and losing one income from your day job has taught a lot of people that security is kind of a myth. So they've switched industries and changed what they're doing. It took me a little longer to accept this one personally because I was able to keep my job during the pandemic. But I realized that it's still just an illusion of security. They could still let me go at any time, especially working in an at-will state. I could be fired at any moment for any reason. I don't have a contract. And realizing that and thinking that and knowing that building side income and side hustles and different income streams is my personal path to having security is something that I really took away from 2020. Another reason people are quitting their jobs is location independence. 2020 allowed so many people to move away from the job location that they were at. They were able to buy homes in different areas, and people realized that where they lived wasn't necessarily where they wanted to live or where they wanted to spend their life. So it gave a lot of people that were able to work remotely the opportunity to finally change that and to move. The people that were allowed to work remotely in 2020, they were able to change locations and move and buy houses in different states and different areas. And some of the other people I know that if they weren't allowed that, they realized that people that could work remotely had opportunities like that they weren't getting. So I actually saw a lot of people apply to more remote jobs and to companies that allowed remote work at a lot faster rate than places that were so strict about you have to come into the office every single day in this specific location. Another reason why people are quitting is for better pay. So many people are realizing now that they have the power and they are not getting paid enough in their current job. And a lot of people are realizing that if they're getting no raises or raises that are only like 1 or 2% per year, they're actually losing money to inflation. So they're doing the same job for less money over time. And honestly, that was something I had to really face up to and realize that if my manager didn't want to give anyone in our department raises, it meant that we were all doing our work for less money. And yes, a lot of companies did lose money during 2020, but others didn't. And that might be a reason why so many people are changing industries right now. Nobody wants to make less money doing the same job. And so right now, a lot of people are quitting for better paying jobs. It is a great market to look for another job right now because companies are paying more. So if you switch jobs right now, you're gonna likely make more money. So that's why a lot of people are quitting, because they're getting better offers for more money. And hey, that is amazing. I think if you have the opportunity right now, if you have time to be looking for other opportunities, you should, because right now is one of the times where you could jump ahead pay-wise, and that will affect the rest of your career. So it's definitely a good time for people to get out there and get better paying jobs. And I think the final reason why people are quitting their jobs right now is because values and the alignment of their job with their values. This past year has allowed a lot of us to reevaluate our lives and our values and what we want out of life. And a lot of us are realizing that the jobs that we have don't align with those values. Sometimes you need a job to pay the bills. And I've been there and I've done that, and there is no shame in that. But sometimes you're also able to step back and reevaluate what you really want out of life. And sometimes the job you have doesn't fit that story. So in the past year, a lot of people were able to ask themselves, does this align with my values? Does this job fulfill me? Does this make the world a better place? Is this what I want to do for the next decade of my life? And those questions are things that we don't always necessarily get to ask ourselves when we are just doing our job and working so hard and struggling along the way. But the past year gave a lot of people time for reflection, and that reflection has led a lot of people to realize that no, the jobs don't fit and they need to let go of those. That definitely happened to me, and that's one of the reasons why I quit my job. My job didn't necessarily align with my values, but for a couple of years, I had to have a job. So I put that to the side and didn't think too much about it because I had to have that paycheck. But I was able to kind of reevaluate over the last year, and I realized that my values are definitely family and spending more time with my family and helping people. So those values did not fit with my job. So I decided to let my job go because that was not working. My values are definitely family related and doing work that matters. And my job really didn't go with either one of those. So I really had to reevaluate whether I wanted to spend so much of my time and energy on a job that did not align with my actual values. So I did decide to quit in a big part because of that. Honestly, I am so excited to see that people are quitting their jobs because in a lot of ways, this means that people are standing up for themselves and they are going to something that's better, whether that's another job or going back to school or starting a business. People are taking their lives in their own hands, myself included, and I'm excited for us. I am thrilled that we are all reevaluating what matters in life and then taking action. Life is too short to work jobs that make us miserable or don't pay us enough or don't treat us well. We need to be doing the things in life that are aligning with our values, paying us well, and honestly giving us the life that we want. We're going to be able to do work that pays us better and makes us happier and gives us the life that we want. And some of us are just going to opt out entirely and go live in the woods and have little gardens and homesteads. And that's awesome too. There are so many different ways to live your life. I've seen so many people just walk out of these jobs that just aren't serving them and aren't paying them well. And I am here for it. I am so excited for people. It is one of the most fascinating ripple effects of the past year. And personally, I am part of it. I quit my job because it was draining. It made me miserable and I did not want to commute 5 days a week. I'm going to have to work still in my life. I'm not financially independent, but I've given myself enough choices and I've looked at my values enough that I am comfortable walking away from what seemed like a good enough job and pursuing something that's a better fit for me. And I hope that if you're in this position too, if you've been thinking about whether or not you should quit, whether or not you should leave a job that maybe isn't really that great for you, or if you're in a situation where you're just miserable every day at work, I encourage you to start looking. There might be a job out there that will pay you better, that will pay you double. Some people are leaving their jobs and getting double the amount of money they were making. So I encourage you to look, to try things out, to apply. You never know what's out there. I think all of us deserve the best possible situations we can find. And I want that for you. I want good things for you and I want good things for myself. And I think that this Great Resignation is one of the best things that has come out of this whole situation because it means that we're all taking our lives in our hands and we are making the best lives that we can. So I wish you all luck and wish me luck as well because I just quit my job last week.